Hi, my name is Bobby, and I'd like to welcome you to the gardens at Roane County Park, located in Harriman, Tennessee. The gardens at the park have been a project of the Master Gardeners, Roane County, since 2009, when the Parks and Recreation Department built this beautiful rock waterfall behind me. Since that time, we have encountered many challenges at the garden. Weather is a big concern here. You know, the weather changes in Tennessee about every 5 minutes. We have fluctuating lake levels, especially in the spring. We have a lot of rain, the lake levels rise, and unfortunately, Watts Bar Lake likes to flood our garden. Another one of our big challenges in maintaining this area is water. In the beginning, we would hook up a hose to the waterfall and drag a hose throughout the garden using the water that's pumped from the lake to the waterfall. Most of the time it was a little bit better than a trickle. And you can imagine what it's like hydrating a garden in the summertime when you're getting a trickle of water. This was probably our biggest challenge other than the floods. So thanks to the Director of Parks and Recreation, Mike Beard, he ran a water line, city water line, to our garden in 2019. Now we have tremendous amounts of water pressure. We can put in sprinklers. I mean, watering the garden has really become quite an easy task. We've also had some challenges with storms. We've had trees taken out, shade gardens become sun gardens. And when you're digging in the garden, you never know what you're going to find. Sometimes we find clay, sometimes we find gravel, and sometimes we find rocks. So over the past 11 years, the challenges have been many. So in 2018, we had a meeting and said, you know, we're going to change the garden into demonstration gardens. So since that time, that's what we've been working on. And what we've done is we have segregated areas of the garden based on the environment. The plants that are in these areas reflect how you can grow beautiful flowers and beautiful plants in different types of environments like sun, shade, water, dry areas. In doing so, we have created a demonstration garden for the community and for all the visitors. People walk through our garden, they take a look at what we have, check out our plants, and then they determine how they can fit this into their landscape at their home. Especially Roane County community people. We all have similar challenges in our own yards. In 2019, we also added an art feature to our garden. We have many talented people in our organization, and they made these beautiful totems that you will see throughout the garden. And our visitors just love them. We get so many compliments, people take pictures, and it gives them ideas how to enhance their landscaping. Another thing that we've done, actually most recently, we added a garden goddess. Actually, she was done about 3 days ago. And she's made with grasses and dried flowers. And she is looking over our garden and keeping everybody happy who's growing here. As we tour this beautiful garden, you'll get to meet many of our master gardeners who will tell you about specific areas and what the unique features and plants are to that area. Enjoy your tour of the garden, which has been maintained, nurtured, and created by Master Gardeners of Roane County. Now I'd like to introduce Jean LaFaso. She's going to tell you about our newest garden, the herb garden. Thank you and enjoy your tour.
Hi, I'm Jean LaFaso, and I've been a Master Gardener here in Roane County since 2015. And today I would like to show you our newest garden in the gardens of Roane County, and that is our herb garden. Because of a lot of the constrictions from COVID-19, we really were faced with a big challenge in establishing this garden. So with other Master Gardeners, we got together, we pooled our seeds, we pooled some plants from our own gardens, and we developed our herb garden. This year it is mostly culinary and maybe a little bit of tea making, if you would like. And it is a mixture of perennials and annuals. We do hope next year to make it more on a perennial basis because it would be more economical for us, and also we would like to introduce some of those herbs that people are not familiar with that will grow here in Roane County and in the state. One of my favorite herbs is lemongrass. Believe it or not, the 2 lemongrass plants that we have here were started from seed by me, and it is used in Asian cooking, and usually it is the bulbous root that is used. However, I really don't know what to do with that root. So what I do is I use the leaves and I make lemongrass tea. And you can very easily make lemongrass tea by just harvesting some leaves, making a little wreath, drying it as you would dry any of your herbs, and then you would steep this in boiling water for about 10 minutes and you would have delicious tea. I'd like to invite you to please come and visit our garden. It's a beautiful spot. It's very relaxing, and I'd like to wish you all a good day. And I'm now going to introduce you to Ann Powers, who is our Master Gardener and Artist in Residence.
I'm Ann Powers. I was an art teacher for many, many years and head of the art department at Roane State. So I wanted to take an educational approach with my pole and make it kind of an exploratorium of nature for kids so that kids could touch it and feel it and look at all the different ways that nature manifests itself in this beautiful setting. I like to use a lot of 3D elements, little 3D. Some of them are pre-made, some of them I made myself, and then painted on them, you know, to make them more colorful and interesting. I love this feature. It says, "You can be one," i.e. Master Gardener. And there's a little mirror there, so when they look in it, they can see that they can be a Master Gardener too. It's about gardening, but it's also about nature, and there are a lot of fish on it because we're by a beautiful lake. So just want the kids to be aware of all the great things to enjoy in nature here at Roane County Park.
All right, I'm Jessica Smith, Roane County's Agricultural Agent and County Director. I'm with Mike Beard, our County Parks and Recreation Director. And we're here to talk about the Roane County Parks and their partnership with the Master Gardeners of Roane County. So how did this venture in this garden start?
Yeah, certainly. Partnership is the right word to use here, because the way this got started was by the Master Gardeners, as I understand, on a much smaller scale. And I've only been here 8 years, but in the last year, that's when it's really taken off. And now what you see behind us is the work of a little bit of hours, but a whole lot of ladies out here. I've never seen more sweaty women in one spot than the group that you have out here. They are a hard-working bunch. So we're very pleased to have the Master Gardeners here, and it was a good day when y'all started this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your partnership. And the county has been very supportive. You guys have helped provide rock and labor here as well, helping with the waterfall. So can you tell a little bit about the projects you guys have done here?
What you see here is the skill of the Master Gardeners, with some rock being delivered in bulk by us who have dump trucks and bobcats. All we did was set it off on the side of the road, and then the ladies performed the magic. It was fantastic.
So we thank you very much for your continued partnership here in Roane County.
Hi, I'm Aileen. Welcome to our virtual tour. I wanted to point out our information box that we put in last year. We have details in there about everything that's going on at the local extension office. Plus, we're working on a brochure about the gardens here that we hope to include later this year. And this bridge here is one of the favorite places for our visitors to come and take photographs. We've seen people coming for prom, for graduation, for weddings, for recitals. Just this morning, someone told us this was their happy place. So a day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't mention to us how much they appreciate coming here and enjoying the gardens. Now this area here that we're standing by near the shore of the lake is one of our most difficult gardening areas. We get an annual flood that goes over our bench and all the way up to the waterfall and up on the paths. So over the years, we've had a lot of difficulty figuring out what can grow here. We've planted many perennials and they just don't come back. So what we decided to do, we got a $500 grant from UT, and we decided to buy river rock. And we put down all the river rock here that keeps the area nice and tidy, keeps the weeds down, and makes a really nice statement by the water. And then we researched a little bit about what could we plant here that would survive. So we talked to some specialists in that area, and we did a little research, and we found out that the beautyberry bushes do well with occasional flooding and dry conditions, and they get a beautiful purple berry on them in the fall that adds a lot of seasonal interest. Now, all the pavers here that you see were donated by the park, and the park also donated all the riprap and put that all up there to keep down erosion. And they also donated all of the benches, which Bobby has painted and embellished, and they look spectacular. So our gardens are basically based on what we have available and what is donated. And some of them are more planned out based on our budget. So we were able to do more specific planning with our native garden area and buy specific plants that we wanted to put there. And now one of our other master gardeners, Lisa, is going to talk to you about the native plant garden. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lisa Deutsch. I've been a master gardener for 12 years, and this is our native plant garden. This is a French tree that's got broke down in a storm, but it's coming back nicely. We have bee balm, which has just finished blooming, but if you cut it back harshly, it will come back. As you can see at the bottom, it is starting to come back already. We have some celandine poppies, which are starting to die back. Those are good for woodland areas. Native Americans use the sap for dyes. This is swamp milkweed incarnata. Milkweed is the only host plant for monarchs. As you can see, it's starting to bloom. It can be cut back by about a third after it blooms, and it will come back up because monarchs like the fresh leaves best. This is tuberosa. We have several phlox. The one in front is blue woodland phlox that grows in the White Oak Sink area of the Smokies. This one is Robert Poor. It gets about 5 foot tall. This tall one is lupine. It had beautiful yellow spikes in June. These are the seed heads. They still add interest even after it's bloomed. And we have purple coneflower. This is the purple coneflower we want to add in the future, the Tennessee coneflower, because it looks much different. A lot of people think this is the Tennessee one, but it's not. As you can see, the petals droop down. On the Tennessee one, they're more upright like a daisy. A fun little fact about the Tennessee coneflower is the flowers always point east. Joe Pye weed, it's a butterfly magnet. This is a good native alternative to butterfly bush. We have Amsonia blue star. It has blue star-like blooms in the spring. And in the fall, this will turn a beautiful yellow, so we have all color. Is Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susans. It has a long bloom time. In the fall, the seeds provide food for goldfinch. All of our plants were chosen with pollinators or wildlife, birds in mind. And with that, I'll turn it over to Catherine in the Daylily Garden.
I'm Catherine Kogar. I have been a master gardener since 2019, and I am a bona fide daylily addict. We have put together a daylily garden that actually has been here since the inception of the garden. My fellow addict, Iris Shelton, was one of the founders of this Roane County Park garden, and she made sure that daylilies were incorporated into the original beds. This spring, we were delighted when Bobby and Aileen approached us about putting in a small garden dedicated to daylilies. Our focus was to represent the great diversity that comes as part of the daylily world. It may be surprising, but daylilies are not native. They are not true lilies. They are part of the group Hemerocalis, which also surprises some folks. They're very easy to hybridize. Back in the 30s, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Arlo Stout with the New York Botanic Gardens did a lot of work hybridizing daylilies and popularizing them. Today, there are over 90,000 different varieties of daylilies. That's a mind-boggling number. It's hard to select just 30 from that number, but we have done our best to represent the variations in size, form, and color in daylilies. They come in a variety of colors, everything around the rainbow except blue. The size can range from 10 inches to skyscraping 6 feet. The blooms can be as small as 1 inch all the way up to 10 inches across. They can bloom beginning in late April and continue on, depending on the variety, even into September and October. Some of them even rebloom. So today, this garden is brand new. It's very quiet, but next summer, it is going to be a fireworks spectacular display of color and shape. Please plan to come back and see it then.
Hi, I'm back again. I wanted to talk a little bit about the newest area we have going on here. We were here working one day and looking around, and a new path kind of revealed itself to us. And we thought, well, wouldn't this be a great place to have another entrance to the gardens, close to the walking pathway, and a place where people could meander around and get close to the plants and enjoy them. And so we envisioned this whole area being a new garden space, starting with a hydrangea garden, and then we walked down this way and we're back into the shade. So we added another shade garden. We have hostas and the oak leaf hydrangeas there. And then we come around this way and we're over in one of our problem areas, which is a bog. So we thought, well, let's just take it over and make a bog out of it. So we added in cannas, we added in a whole screen of zebra grass, which will get to be 7 feet tall and 4 feet wide. We added in a lot of daylilies and swamp irises. And then, of course, we have our garden goddess here, who we hope to change every season based on what's going on that time of year, and maybe even the holidays. And we added in some bee balm and some sunflowers. And we have an unusual plant over here that we thought we'd give it a try. It's called pumpkin on a stick. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it gets little pumpkins on it. And what happens is the leaves fall off, and then you're left with a stick with a bunch of little pumpkins on it. And people love it for flower arrangements. So we thought that was kind of unique, and we'd give it a try. Now, when we walk around this area, we're going back into the shade garden. And one of our members donated the cutest little dinghy boat to us that we painted and planted for a garden feature here. And we were able to purchase a lot of heuchera at a really inexpensive price, and we thought that looked like waves of water to add a little feature there. And most of these plants in the shade garden were donated. We have several different unique varieties: Japanese toad lily, we have ferns, heucheras, begonias. So we consider this one of our shade areas. And we have several different types of shade gardens here. We have a deep shade garden over on the far side of the path that has our hostas and our Linton roses in. And at one time, Bobby mentioned earlier, we had a big tree here, and we lost it during a bad storm. It fell, it destroyed the bridge, it damaged the bench, and we lost our shade. And so we thought, well, the bench got fixed, the bridge got replaced, and now we have sun. So we planted a bog, or a berm over here. We added some brass buckle evergreens that stay yellow all year long, and a really bright pop of color whatever time of year you're here. And we put a bird bath there. So we really love this area. Something that wasn't so good turned into something that's really good. So that's what you got to think. And now I'm going to turn it over back to Bobby, and she's going to talk about the rock garden.
Hi, Bobby here. I'm going to talk to you about our feature, our waterfall. At the beginning, this was pretty much just a rock pile. And through the years, we have added numerous plants, flowers, perennials, annuals, to make it the beautiful rock pile waterfall that you see before you. We have some purple heart here, which is planted in various places. This was planted last year, and it's doing quite well, because one of the challenges for our rock garden is it's in constant sun. and there's very little soil on the top and in all these nooks and crannies. So when we plant the rock garden, we try to use plants and flowers that don't require a lot of care and can tolerate the harsh sun that we have in the summertime. So as I said, we have our purple heart. We have some different types of succulents here growing on the rock pile. Some creeping jenny adds a bright green color to the top of the area. Let me move out of the way here. We have a perennial mum, which will give us a lot of color in the fall, and this is a type of mum. I think it could probably grow in about an inch of soil. It has a very shallow root base. The flowers are a peachy color with a slightly blue center. We also normally put a lot of moss roses on top of our waterfall because they really do like this dry, shallow soil base that we have. We have some junipers, we have different daylilies on the other side, but it really is a beautiful feature. Another challenge for our rock pile is the water. I mean, the waterfall is on from spring, when the lake levels are manageable, through part of fall, and they turn off the water when it starts getting really cold here. We have some irises in the front here, Louisiana irises, that are absolutely gorgeous in the spring. Bright purple flowers. We had a massive purple flowers this year. Last year we added some cardinal flowers, and they're just now starting to bloom. So those are going to be an added treat. Probably mid-August we should have a full bloom on those. If you follow me over here, this is our driftwood piece that Aileen and I found after a flood. It was laying on the other side of the big trees, and we managed to drag it over here and make a feature out of it. Plus it keeps the deer and some of the kids from, playing in the waterfall, which has been a big help. We just put some sweet potato vines on it and planted a few flowers around it to give it some interest. I hope when you visit Roane County Park, you take advantage of our beautiful waterfall feature and spend some time in this relaxing area. Thank you.
And so last year, we were able to purchase this field stone and all the soil to make the raised beds. We pictured it as being a border from the walking path to the gardens to serve as a sort of protective area for the plants and keep the animals off, and then also to make an enticing entrance to the gardens. We decided to go with a purple and yellow theme, so we have some popcorn drift roses, some yellow knockout roses, some purple pugster butterfly bushes, some balloon plants, and then we added some additional annuals to enhance that color theme. Now, we've really enjoyed the Focus Friday workshops. We've learned so much, and we hope that we can incorporate some of your ideas into our gardens, and we hope we've given you some ideas on how to garden in environmental and soil challenging areas. So thank you for doing this virtual tour with us. I'm going to turn it over now to Donna, the president of the Master Gardeners of Roane County, to share with you some of our other projects.
Hi, I'm Donna Bybee. I'm the president of the local chapter of the Master Gardeners of Roane County. And as you can see from what you've seen in the video already, we have a very active group. The gardens at Roane County Park are obviously a star in our crown, and we spend a lot of time here, but we are also very involved in other projects. Another project that's been very successful for us and well received by the community is our Lunch and Learn, and we rely on our Master Gardener members to speak at those. We're also very fortunate to have the professors from UT come and join us from time to time. It's very well attended, and it's also very well appreciated by the local community. In addition to that, we have a demonstration garden, or we landscape around our extension office. That is an area that we're still working on, and one of our intern groups recently planted about 1,000 daffodils out front of the office, and it gives us a huge splash of color and draws attention to our program just from the community driving by. We also are very active in the habitat Urban Gardens program, which is affiliated with Habitat for Humanity. We're just about ready to plant shrubbery and plants around 2 additional houses. That should happen, later this month, sometime between now and the end of September. And we've been involved in that for a number of years. And it's also well received by the community and recognized as a big partnership with the Habitat organization. We also are very fortunate to be associated with Farm Day. The local community has a very large event every fall for the 3rd graders in school. And every 3rd grader is invited to come to Farm Day, and we often have some type of project where they take something home with them. Whether we plant lettuce or teach them about planting oak trees or something, sunflower, something to that effect, so that they get a good appreciation for what agriculture does in our community. And we have a horticultural assistance program and also an Adopt a Highway program where we do litter pickup around the community. We're blessed to have a sign on one of our major thoroughfares that draws attention to our volunteer organization, and we often get very good feedback from the community for these types of activities. Our major fundraiser that funds the activities we have here at the park and the other projects I've mentioned is an annual plant sale, typically the last Saturday in April. Of course, this year we weren't able to have that plant sale, so we're existing on the donations from previous years, and our members make it happen. They are very generous with sharing plants from their properties, and then we have vendors in the area that donate to the sale as well. We were also very fortunate to receive a grant from the University of Tennessee through the Master Gardener program that we received a $500 grant that helped us kickstart this latest improvement to the garden. So we greatly appreciate that. And it's wonderful to hear all the community comment as they walk through the park, all the wonderful things they have to say, and to allow them to see the affiliation between this garden and the Master Gardeners of Roane County.
So we're glad you joined us today, and the Master Gardeners of Roane County are a wonderful part of the UT Extension Office here in Roane County. They're one of our dedicated volunteer groups. Over 30 volunteers, put out over 3,000 volunteer hours in 2019, and we're thankful for all the work they do here and with our office. Our office is, they're very active in all aspects of our office, from 4-H to Ag and Natural Resources, and even help our Family and Consumer Science ladies as well. So again, thank you, and I'll turn it over to Bobby to wrap up about our tour.
I hope you enjoyed your tour of the gardens at Roane County Park. Please come out and visit us. The park is open from dawn to dusk. Every day the garden changes. Every day we add more plants. Every day we make it bigger. So come out and join us, sit, relax, enjoy the peaceful beauty of the garden, and just have a wonderful day. Thank you.